You were taught that hard work leads to wealth. But look around. The hardest workers are rarely the richest. Something doesn't add up. In 1883, someone figured out that working less could mean earning more, and from that moment, the math of wealth changed forever. The town of Milford had seen its share of craftsmen come and go, but nobody swung a hammer quite like James Calloway. By the age of 22, his hands were already mapped with calluses, his forearms thick as oak branches, and his reputation spread 3 counties wide. He was the first one at his workbench every morning and the last one to leave every night. Ethan Cole was different. Same age, same trade, same street. But where James attacked wood like it owed him money, Ethan studied it.
He would hold a plank up to the light, turn it slowly, run his thumb along the grain, and only then decide what it was good for. They had grown up 2 houses apart and respected each other the way only true rivals can, without ever saying so out loud.
On the 3rd Tuesday of October, a black carriage rolled into Milford and stopped in front of the general store. Out stepped Mr. Gerald Hartman, a merchant from Cincinnati, dressed in a wool coat that cost more than most men in Milford made in a month. He was building a grand hotel on the river, the Hartman House, and he needed furniture to fill it. He walked into James's workshop first. Sawdust hung in the air like snow. James was bent over a workbench, driving nails with clean, powerful strokes. "I need 50 matching chairs," Hartman said without introduction. "Solid oak, high-backed, identical, every one of them, 6 weeks." James straightened up, wiped his hands on his apron, and looked the man dead in the eye. "Done," he said. Hartman nodded, then walked down the street to Ethan's workshop. It was quieter there. Ethan was at his drafting table, sketching something with a short pencil. Tools hung on the wall in neat rows, each one clean and sharp. Hartman repeated his offer. Ethan set down his pencil. "Come back tomorrow morning," he said. "I'll have an answer and a price." Hartman raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. He had dealt with enough craftsmen to know that a man who thinks before he speaks is worth listening to. That night, Hartman made a decision.
He split the order, 25 chairs to James, 25 to Ethan. Whoever delivered first with the best quality would earn the contract for the rest of the hotel. Tables, bed frames, cabinets, everything. James started before dawn the next morning. He pulled his best oak planks from the stack, grabbed his saw, and got to work. He cut one chair's parts, assembled it, then started the next. His rhythm was powerful and steady, like a locomotive that never needed to stop for water. By the end of the first week, he had 6 chairs finished and lined up against the wall. He was proud. He was tired. He kept going. Ethan spent his first morning differently. He built one chair, slowly, carefully, measuring twice and cutting once. When it was done, he set it in the middle of the floor and walked around it for a long time. Then he made a set of wooden templates, one for each part of the chair. Every leg, every crossbar, every curve of the backrest, traced in thin pine board, precise as a surgeon's instrument. His apprentice, a 15-year-old boy named Samuel, watched with curiosity. "We're not building yet?" Samuel asked. "We just built the most important thing," Ethan said, holding up a template. "Now we build fast." On the second day, Ethan laid 6 planks side by side, placed his templates on top, and cut all 6 sets of parts in the time it would have taken to cut 2 the old way. Samuel sanded while Ethan assembled. Ethan assembled while Samuel stained. They moved like 2 parts of the same machine. By the end of the first week, Ethan had 8 chairs finished, and his pace was increasing, not slowing. James hit trouble in week 2. He noticed that chair number 9 looked slightly different from chair number 1. The back legs were a hair shorter. He had been cutting by eye, trusting his experience, and somewhere along the way, the measurements had drifted. He had to take 3 chairs apart and redo them. 2 days lost. He pushed harder to make up the time. He skipped lunch. He worked by candlelight until his eyes burned. His hands, already rough, began to crack at the knuckles.
One evening, his neighbor, old Mr. Pruitt, leaned over the fence and said, "Son, you look like a man trying to outrun his own shadow." James just nodded and went back inside. By the end of week 3, James had 14 chairs done. Ethan had 19, all identical because the templates made sure of it.
Hartman himself came by at the end of week 4. He said nothing, just looked at the chairs in each workshop, ran his hand along the joints, checked the legs for wobble. In James's shop, he found 2 chairs with slightly uneven armrests. In Ethan's shop, he found nothing wrong at all. James saw the look on Hartman's face and felt something cold settle in his chest. Not defeat, not yet, but the first shadow of doubt. He worked through the weekend without sleeping more than 4 hours a night. On the morning of the 38th day, 2 days before the 6-week deadline, Ethan carried his 25th chair into the street, set it next to the other 24, and sent Samuel to find Mr. Hartman. The chairs stood in a perfect row in the autumn sunlight, each one identical to the last, the oak grain glowing warm and golden. Hartman arrived, inspected every single one, and took off his hat. "How?" he asked simply. "I built one right," Ethan said. "Then I built a way to build the rest right." James finished his 25th chair on the last day of the 6th week, 1 hour before sunset. They were good chairs, strong, solid, built with real skill. But 3 of them had small inconsistencies that a careful eye could catch, and James looked 10 years older than he had 6 weeks ago.
Hartman gave the full hotel contract to Ethan. James sat on his workbench that evening, too tired to be angry. He looked at his hands, cracked, swollen, shaking slightly. He had worked harder than any man in Milford. He had given everything he had, and he had still lost. Ethan came by just before dark. He didn't gloat. He sat down next to James and was quiet for a moment. "You're the best carpenter I've ever seen," Ethan said finally. "I mean that." "Then why?" James started. "Because I didn't try to beat you with my hands," Ethan said. "I tried to beat the problem." James looked at him for a long time. Then he looked at the row of chairs in his own shop. Strong, honest work, every one of them. "Show me the templates," he said quietly. Ethan nodded. "Come by tomorrow morning."
They worked together on the Hartman House contract. The hotel opened the following spring, and people came from Columbus and Cincinnati just to see the furniture. Hard work fills your days. Smart work fills your bank account. Be honest, James or Ethan?